Live from the Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, this is News 3 Now special coverage of the Republican National Convention.
A live look inside Fiserv Forum right now as night 3 of the Republican National Convention is starting to come to a close. Tonight's lineup of speakers inside included former President Donald Trump's running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. And we will share some of Senator Vance's speech momentarily as we are back here tonight from a rather breezy rooftop position here at the Baird Center. We'll have more team coverage from News 3 Now tonight at the RNC.
We have two crews inside Fiserv Forum tonight. Susan Simon and Brady Mallory are on the suite level, while Will Keneally and Braden Ross are on the convention floor. And back in Madison, we have Jalen Banks at the anchor desk. But right now, let's get inside Fiserv Forum with Susan and Brady, who have more on J.D. Vance's message tonight. Hi, guys.
Yes, J.D. Vance just wrapped up his speech, and he officially accepted the nomination as the Republican vice presidential nominee. And right away, his speech can be summed up in 2 words, hillbilly elegy. Now, that was his popular memoir that was adapted into a movie, and he used that as like the framework of his speech. He talked a lot about growing up in poverty, seeing drug addiction in his hometown, and the loss of jobs in his hometown, and he really leaned on that in his speech tonight.
That's right. He talked a lot about how his story influenced his path into politics. There was one very moving moment where he introduced his mother, Bev, raised by a single mom. She got another standing ovation, a long one. And you can only imagine, as a parent, seeing their journey to see her son tonight accepting the nomination to be vice president of the United States.
And he's been very candid about his mother's struggle with addiction, and said that she is 10 years clean and sober, and once again really highlighted his upbringing in Ohio. So take a listen to part of his speech tonight.
And I'm overwhelmed with gratitude to say I officially accept your nomination to be Vice President of the United States of America. Now, never in my wildest imagination could I have believed that I'd be standing here tonight. I grew up in Middletown, Ohio. A small town where people spoke their minds, built with their hands, and loved their God, their family, their community, and their country with their whole hearts. But it was also a place that had been cast aside and forgotten by America's ruling class in Washington.
Now listen, J.D. Vance knows his audience here, and the audience really responded to him talking about the goals that he sees for America, getting past the opioid epidemic, getting jobs in America. You know, he was talking about people that he knows who are worried about paying their bills because of inflation. But now the question is this speech enough? This was kind of an audition for the American people. Is this speech enough to bring the more moderate Republicans to his side? And can he move past some of his past criticisms, like his calling for a near total ban on abortion in the past? He now says that he's open to some exceptions, and for supporting anti-LGBTQ policies. So we'll find out in the days to come.
Let's head down to the floor to our political reporter, Will Keneally. He's joined by a special guest tonight with more reaction on tonight's speech. Will?
Yeah, we're down here on the floor speaking with RNC delegate Paul Farrow. Thanks so much for joining us, sir.
Thanks for having me.
So what do we hear from J.D. Vance tonight that we haven't heard before that will help Wisconsinites make up their mind?
You know, I think what you saw from J.D. tonight is truly that Midwestern work ethic, the Midwestern attitude that's going to help us. You know, you heard his life story tonight. You heard his passion for how he wants to help President Trump get us back on track and keep America great. I think that's what we're going to see.
So we've heard certainly him start out his speech talking about the shooting over the weekend. I'm sure that's on a lot of voters' minds still. Do you have a sense of how that would have impacted this VP pick, how that might impact voters this fall?
Well, I think what you saw is just that moment in time that everybody can remember. Our former president got shot. That changed everything, and I think you're hearing a new message here at the convention, talking about unity, talking about this, making this country stronger, talking about a leader that's gone through the fire and is ready to step up for us. I think J.D. is just another one candidate at the vice president level that's going to be able to bring that energy that he has as a former Marine to show us that he can help lead the way.
So we've heard a lot from him touching on his personal narrative, certainly. A couple of Wisconsin mentions as well. What do you think the big takeaway for Wisconsinites should be from his speech?
I think we can see a fellow Midwesterner that we can support. I think when he comes to the state, and we know he's going to be here many times, that we're looking forward to giving the Wisconsin hospitality that we've given the convention and look forward to helping him get across the finish line.
Well, Paul Farrell, thanks so much for joining us. We'll send it back to you guys up in the Fiserv Forum there.
Thank you, Will. And I would say based on the audience here at the Republican National Convention, I'd say it was a good night for J.D. Vance based on how they received him tonight. And, of course, we will keep you updated on more reaction outside of the RNC in the days to come to see how people are feeling about his candidacy as former President Trump's VP.
And tomorrow night, of course, is the reason all of these delegates have come here to Milwaukee this week to see the official accepting of the nomination for president of Donald J. Trump for the third time. Eric and Charlotte will send it back to you.
All right, thank you so much. Since Trump's political rise in 2016, there has been a shift in the Republican Party to one shaped by Trump's policies.
And the theme of making America great again was, again, strongly on display at the RNC really all week long. Last night we saw Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, Florida Senator Marco Rubio, and other former Trump opponents pledge their support behind him in hopes of turning the White House red once again. Two women from Texas say their delegation actually worked to make sure those in attendance here fully stand behind Donald Trump.
I was on the nominations committee of bringing people who wanted to come to the National Convention, and we interviewed hundreds of people that wanted to come, and we wanted to make sure who comes are Trump.
That was Stacey Madison, a delegate from Texas. She'd go on to say the Republican Party of today feels different because it is more grassroots. And with all our RNC coverage this week, we've been hearing a lot of conservative perspectives from delegates, leaders, and visitors here to the city of Milwaukee.
Well, now we are tuning into some local voices in Madison with more moderate or Democratic outlooks on the convention. And some people believe the convention will raise Republican votes within the state of Wisconsin, while others see the event as an isolated group of like-minded individuals. We caught up with two voters earlier today. Each identifies with a different political party, but both say the convention will galvanize Republicans through their idolization of Trump.
The whole candidacy of Trump is all about him, and it's all about he being an icon and he being the only person in the Republic that could lead the Republican Party. That's bad. That's
but there's
bad
no one
start.
talking about the deficit, who's paying for Social Security, who's going to pay for Medicare. There's no one looking at the real issues.
Right, not even Trump.
Right,
he doesn't even talk about that, and that's what the Republicans should be talking about.
This convention, of course, wraps up tomorrow.
Yeah, big speech coming from Donald Trump tomorrow. A lot of folks here anticipating that. And as for the Democrats, their party's convention is set for Chicago next month. It'll be August 19th through the 22nd. We'll have much more coverage coming from Milwaukee. Still to come in this newscast, but right now let's go back to Jalen Banks. He is at the desk in Madison.
Eric and Charlotte, thank you. Well, it was another warm and calm summer day for many throughout southern Wisconsin, and it appears more of that is on the way as we enter the end of the work week. Meteorologist Jacob Montesano has the details in your first one forecast. Jacob.
Thanks, Jalen. If anything, as I stand out here right now, it actually feels a little bit chilly, but I'm all on board for that. I am a much bigger fan of the cooler temperatures, and we're going to see temperatures kind of remaining below average for the next couple of days as they were today. Current temperature, 64 degrees in Madison, most of Dane County in the lower 60s. A few locations have already dropped into the upper 50s. Now compare these temperatures to 24 hours ago. In some areas, over 10 degrees cooler, and this time yesterday, the areas were about 10 degrees cooler from the 24 hours before that on Monday. So temperatures have continuously dropped a little bit. Now, they're not going to drop too much tomorrow, but they're going to be similar to what we saw today, which were highs in the middle 70s for the most part across our area. Now, as we go into the overnight hours, we are going to see temperatures, again, fairly chilly. Lows will be dropping into the middle 50s, but still fairly comfortable. But we are going to see clear skies. And for tomorrow, highs once again in the middle 70s with plenty of sunshine. Now, rain is eventually going to come back to the forecast. I'll talk about when that could occur coming up a bit later.
All right, sounds good, Jacob. Thank you. New at 10, a jury found 61-year-old former pastor Robert Stein of Middleton not guilty of 2 felony charges of first-degree child sexual assault. The case was first brought forward in 2023. Our Ellie La Liberté sat in on the trial and breaks it all down.
The case refers to separate incidents in 2019 when Stein was serving as a pastor at Midvale Baptist Church in Madison. At that time, he was running after-school childcare and summer camp. That's when the young girl says she was assaulted.
In count 2, it is charged that the defendant.
Former pastor Robert Stein is facing 2 counts of first-degree child sexual assault involving a person under the age of 13. He pleaded not guilty to both.
Did you ever in any way make any contact with her that was sexual in nature?
No, sir.
Stein's defense attorney asked the jury to question if the girl's testimony was accurate.
Test the truth of the vague, blurry claims that were remembered after a period of years.
While the prosecution, the state, argued the girl had a consistent claim.
Through the clarity of her testimony, the state has established each and every element of the offenses charged that the judge went through with you.
Stein also took to the stand saying he was only vaguely familiar with the girl and that her testimony wasn't logical.
If I'm the only teacher, I am never alone with children, especially for a length of time.
Some others who testified during the trial include the girl and her family, staff of the church, and a detective familiar with the case.
Ellie, thank you. In other news, President Joe Biden has COVID. The diagnosis came just hours after he stopped by a Las Vegas Mexican restaurant before a scheduled interview with Univision Radio. Biden is back in Delaware, where he will self-isolate. The administration says Biden's symptoms are mild and his doctor gave him his first dose of Paxlovid. He was not able to speak at the Unidos U.S. conference in Las Vegas earlier today as it was scheduled. More stories still ahead at 10, including how the city of Madison plans to overcome a $22 million budget gap for next year. Plus, our RNC coverage from Milwaukee continues. Another check-in on the convention floor inside FISA Forum as the Night 3 wraps up.
Need appliances? Black Friday deals are here at Furniture and Appliance Mart. Save up to 60% off on one-of-a-kind and floor sample items and get up to $3,000 in rebates. The guaranteed lowest prices and special financing for 5 years at Furniture and Appliance Mart inside Ashley.
It's a great time to have RG Heating and Air Conditioning check your home's furnace system for safety and efficiency. RG services all brands and installs quality Trane equipment to keep your home running smooth year-round. Call RG Heating and AC today.
This famous wood fence from the show Home Improvement had to have boards replaced 13 times in only 9 years. Our fences outlast wood 3 to 1 and are all backed by our extensive lifetime warranty. This month, save $1,000 on your project. Visit the website or call the number for your new fence today.
It's time for the grooviest event of the summer. You'll be feeling good at the Wisconsin State Fair, presented by U.S. Cellular, August 1st through the 11th.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we get you quality pet supplies because we get you. Right now, during our summer pet care sale, shop unbeatable deals on your pet's favorite food and supplies to keep them happy and healthy. Like a free $15 Blaine's gift card when you buy select bags of Hill's Science Diet dog food. Assorted Blaine's Naturals, grain-free, and specialty dog food as low as $34.99. Also, make backyard projects a breeze with this Simpson pressure washer, $50 off.
Find value at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
I'm 82.
86.
90 years young.
Eric Hovde thinks people like us shouldn't be able to vote.
If you're in a nursing home, you only have 5-6 month life expectancy. Almost nobody in a nursing home is in a point to vote.
Son, I've served this country. I think I can handle a ballot.
What a jerk.
Eric Hovde, I'm fully aware of whom I'm voting for, and it won't be you.
Need a better night's sleep? Black Friday deals are here at Ashley. Get up to a $300 MasterCard rewards card with select mattress, foundation, or adjustable base purchases, and special financing for 60 months. Only at Ashley.
On the Jennifer Hudson Show, from the hit series Not Dead Yet, it's Gina Rodriguez. You are something special. Plus, I'm in the kitchen with the help of Carla Hall.
Child, being on this show is the most stunning thing.
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3.
And welcome back to night 3 of the Republican National Convention. 3 days down with one very big night before things wrap up tomorrow.
This convention started with a rather different tenor that we're used to seeing after the presumptive nominee was shot just 2 days before this all began. Following that assassination attempt, we heard calls from both parties to simply lower the temperature of our politics. Now, Braden Ross is live tonight from the convention floor inside Fiserv Forum, talking with delegates about how they're approaching that conversation this week. Braden?
Hi, Eric and Charlotte. Yeah, welcome back to the convention floor here at the RNC. And we certainly did hear those calls for unity today. We heard from Donald Trump Jr. and we also heard from Vice Presidential candidate J.D. Vance. They both talked about that unity, but they also both talked about that assassination attempt and the rhetoric that they say that Donald Trump has experienced from the left. Now, we also spoke with former Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker about that push for unity and less aggressive rhetoric from both parties. He reminded us of a time when he was in office a decade ago now. He says he experienced the political vision in the U.S. even then.
I saw it firsthand as governor, where it wasn't just disagreeing with me, pictures of me being in the crosshairs, pictures of me with a mustache like Adolf Hitler. We see that 1,000 times more with Donald Trump. We really got to tone the rhetoric down. We can oppose each other. We can have a vehement debate, but we can't be in a position where the rhetoric leads to threats.
Now, of course, like I said, we have heard those conversations about unity, lowering the temperature here, but we've also heard chants of fight, fight, fight. That's what former President Trump said after he was nearly killed on that stage in Pennsylvania last weekend. Of course, we will all be closely watching and listening to what Donald Trump says tomorrow night in his speech, and if he continues to push that message of unity, and if he talks about that assassination attempt as well. We will keep you updated, of course, as we watch him speak and afterwards tomorrow night. For now, reporting live at the Fiserv Forum, Braden Ross, News 3 Now.
Braden, thank you. Now, this convention will come to a close tomorrow evening with an address from former President Donald Trump.
Yeah, and as Braden kind of alluded to, this is the first time we've heard from him since that assassination attempt that happened in Pennsylvania just on Saturday. He has been very visible at the convention, showing up each night at Fiserv Forum to listen to several of the scheduled speakers. Earlier today, he was seen on stage going through a walkthrough of the convention stage ahead of that big speech tomorrow. It's been previously reported that Donald Trump had rewritten his speech to accept the Republican presidential nomination after surviving the shooting on Saturday. The Trump campaign said he intends to deliver a message on the theme of unifying America. And you'll be able to see, of course, the former president's speech right here in CBS primetime coverage tomorrow night at the Republican National Convention.
We're also going to share some of what he said immediately after that on News 3 Now at 10. We'll have one final check-in from us right here in Milwaukee, but for now, we're going to get you back to Jalen Banks in Madison for the latest headlines.
Charlotte and Eric, thank you. To more local news, the city of Madison is facing a budget shortfall of $22 million. Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway presented 2 plans to address it in last night's Common Council meeting. Armand Rahman joins us to break down all the numbers.
Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway says there are 2 paths forward to deal with the current budget shortfall without the state legislature providing more shared revenue to Madison than just $29 per resident. The first plan puts a referendum in front of voters in November. If they approve it, property taxes on the average household would go up $29 a month starting in 2025. The mayor says this would prevent another budget shortfall for the next 5 years at least.
It's a flat rate. Those who are making more would be able to share the burden a little bit more. If we don't have a referendum and we raise fees and such, it will impact the lowest income people the most.
That impact is the second plan if the referendum doesn't pass. $6 million in permanent cuts to city services starting in 2025. That would mean about 60 layoffs, likely starting with those hired most recently. And that's a route city officials say would put an enormous burden on city staff since Madison's seen a population increase of more than 5,000 residents a year.
Armand, thank you. Switching gears now, meteorologist Jacob Montesano is back now with a check of your first one forecast. Jacob.
Thanks, Jalen. Here's a look at the 3 things you need to know. We're going to continue to see sunshine for the rest of this week. Also dry conditions through at least Saturday, possibly even beyond that. But Sunday will be our next chance of rainfall. And then throughout next week, we are going to see a few chances of rain. But at this point, we aren't expecting any specific days to be washouts. But each day, the chance of storms looks to be there. Now, obviously, the dry weather is definitely welcoming for our area considering our current situation. A lot of flood warnings, but compared to yesterday, a few of the flood warnings have gone away. But at the time being, all these flood warnings are until further notice, but they may be canceled at any given time. Still seeing a lot of those flood warnings, though, near rivers and some creeks where the flood waters are a bit high. Now, here's the good news. Over the next 7 days, not going to see much rainfall. And even the days that we do, we're only expecting to see a stray shower or thunderstorm. We're likely not going to see anything very heavy. Certainly not as heavy as what we saw this past weekend or this past Monday for a few locations. But for the rest of this week, certainly, we are definitely going to be dry. And here's a look at the rainfall forecast over the next 7 days. We're going to struggle to get around 1/4 of an inch of rainfall, let alone 3 inches, which is what we saw here in Madison on Sunday. But as we look at the temperatures, they also are going to be very comfortable. So highs will be in the middle 70s today with tomorrow rather, with partly to mostly sunny skies in the forecast. And overall, the next 10 days shows temperatures not too bad at all. Highs will be in the lower 80s, upper 70s. Nothing to suggest we'll see very uncomfortable conditions for the heat. And as the temperatures do rise to the lower 80s, it's not going to be quite as humid as we saw over this past weekend. So the full 7 to 10 day forecast shows several chances of storms next week, but no need to panic for next week. Just because there is a chance of storms every day doesn't mean we're going to see a ton of precipitation. And it's likely that each of these individual days, especially Sunday and Monday, we're likely only going to see rain for a brief period of time during the day. Most of the day should be dry. And as I talked about, those temperatures are going to remain comfortable.
And coming up in sports, heading overseas again. The best part to Brad Davison about playing professionally in Spain. That's next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Your child's confidence stems from learning and seeing clearly. At Shopko Optical, our professional team will help your child start their journey of confidence by providing quality eye care in a warm and comfortable environment. Schedule their back-to-school exam at shopko.com.
Drive into summer with a new Honda. Heading out for a day at the beach or a weekend in the mountains. Make an impression with the unmistakable style of the HR-V or turn heads in the sporty Civic. And when you drive a Honda, you're driving with the 2024 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. So act now to get an offer you'll love. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into the Honda Summer Event.
In a Leisure Concept swim and place pool, you can also walk, jog, exercise, float around, play with the kids, anything you can do in a big pool, but this one has swim jets, temperature control, is super insulated, and you can use it year-round. These are made right in Iowa and take only a week or 2 to get. What a great, fun, low-impact way to stay healthy. Get to Leisure Concept's awesome showroom on Madison's Beltline at the Park Street exit and see one in person.
It's the Hy-Vee BOGO sale this Friday through Sunday. Buy one, get one free. Get BOGOs, BOGOs, and more BOGOs. Buy one, get one free, including on our award-winning Hy-Vee Chinese. Get BOGOs on more than 100 items store-wide. And when you buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one free. And buy one, get one free. Don't miss the Hy-Vee BOGO sale this Friday through Sunday, only at Hy-Vee.
Imagine trying to take on one of the big car companies. It's not easy. Yet this year, one local law firm finalized the largest compensatory verdict in state history against an automaker, over $38 million. And it was no fluke. That same firm has been holding big car companies accountable for faulty designs that cause injury for over 50 years. Because Wisconsinites know who to call when it's a must-win scenario. They call Habish, Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service.
Get an 11% rebate on everything at Menards. Greenie's Dental Dog Treats help fight plaque and tartar, and they're vet recommended. Pick up a value pack for just $32.98. Plus, get an 11% rebate. Attract a variety of birds to your feeder with Enchanted Gardens Cardinal Mix. It's a nutritious blend that keeps birds coming back. Get a 20-pound bag for $15.99 after 11% rebate at Menards. America's #1 home improvement retailer for customer satisfaction.
Save big money at Menards.
Everyone's vision needs are unique. At Shopko Optical, our caring team of professionals will work with you to ensure your vision is at its best. Shopko Optical can help you experience every detail, color, and breathtaking sight in clarity.
The biggest thing for the Bucks this offseason is their health, right? Well, with Giannis and Greece heading back to the Olympics, he looks to be good, so cross him off that list. Now, the other guy, Chris Middleton, well, the three-time All-Star is getting closer to that 100% mark. The Bucks forward had surgery this offseason on both ankles, the left right after the season ended, and then the right one in mid-June. Good news, though, he is expected to be ready for the start of next season. Life is good if you're Brad Davison. The soon-to-be dad spent the last couple days back in town running his Grit basketball skills camp with his wife Tyra. And once the camps in Illinois and Minnesota are done, they're all heading back overseas. The former Badger will play professionally again in Spain and have another opportunity to compete and build relationships through the game he loves. Well, Davison can't hardly wait.
Playing the game of basketball professionally over in Europe is incredible. It's not something that I dreamed about doing when I was a young kid, but now that I've had the opportunity, it's great competition. It's a great lifestyle for my wife and I. We get so much great quality time, and again, you meet some incredible people from all over the world, from the ends of the earth we get to hang out and develop relationships with, again, all through the game of basketball.
Another tune-up for Team USA. This time they're taking on Serbia, and Steph Curry was feeling it from the start. 18 first-half points. He finished with a game-high 24, including 6 triples. And Micah Potter also got into the 3-ball action. The former Badger played 3 minutes, scored 3 points. Team USA cruises to a 105-79 win. 2 things instantly stood out about Tanner Mordecai once he got to Wisconsin: his leadership and his toughness. We saw it on the field during his lone season at UW. And you factor in that arm strength, well, that helped him get a shot with the 49ers as an undrafted free agent. But if things don't work out in San Francisco, the former Badger now has a backup plan: the UFL. Mordecai was selected by the DC Defenders in today's UFL draft. And speaking of signings, Quintez Cephas is heading to Houston to join fellow Badger alum Dare Ogunbowale and the Texans. After being drafted in 2020, Cephas spent 3 seasons with the Lions before serving a 1-year suspension for violating the league's gambling policy. In Detroit, he caught 37 passes for 568 yards and 4 touchdowns. We're back after this.
Congress has been spinning its wheels, going nowhere. I'm Katrina Shankland. In the state capitol, I've passed 225 bipartisan laws to help farmers, workers, and families. I approve this message because I have the experience to get things moving.
Introducing TPC Wisconsin, Madison's elite golf club with worldwide privileges, plus extraordinary amenities to keep you active year-round, to keep you fit and well-equipped for the course, to keep you connected to what matters the most. Play where the pros play with an exclusive membership at TPC Wisconsin. Make it your club today.
Are you ready to make junk disappear?
I am so looking forward to this.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point. Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
We'll be there before you hang up the phone.
Dear unbreakable spirit, when the terrain is gnarly, you steady us. When obstacles are ahead, you lift us. When the turf is hostile, you inspire us. Own a legend. Toyota Trucks.
Right now, lease a new Tacoma for $319 a month or get 2.99% APR for 60 months on a new Tundra. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Honestly, I didn't even know what was possible for my future when I was a kid.
I had always wondered, like, sitting in class, like, do these people go home and are they afraid of their dad, too? When Roe v. Wade was overturned, immediately I just thought about being 12. And first thing that was told to me when I saw that positive pregnancy test was you have options. And, you know, if Roe v. Wade would have been overturned sooner, I wouldn't have heard that. And then it had me thinking that there's someone who doesn't get to hear that now. Girls like me across the country are suffering. Their futures are being ripped away. Trump and J.D. Vance don't care about women. They don't care about girls in this situation. They will continue to take our rights away. In this election, we have a choice.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Owning my own home is nice. You can just come home knowing that it's yours. It's a sense of pride, sense of ownership, and enjoying it with everyone I love and care for.
Make a lasting impact on local families in need. Please donate today.
I know how to get things moving in the state capitol, but in Congress, I'll also have the experience to stop bad ideas like the national abortion ban and stop attacks on our democracy. I'm Katrina Shankland, and